Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of our entitled parents. In today's episode, EM wants my ID. How do you guys respond to the but their family argument? Crazy mother trying to get me fired from my volunteer position for helping her kid. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. EM wants my ID. So I work at a grocery store. I'm also 24 years old, but my family has chronic baby face. This is important to the story. It's my day off and I wanted to get some chores done, like clean the garage and give my dogs a bath, but I'm out of dog shampoo and the garage has a major spider infestation, so I run to the store I work at for dog shampoo and bug killer. I then pass the beer aisle and think to myself how awesome a nice beer would be after I get all my work done, and pick out a couple single bottles of brands I've been meaning to try out. Behind me I hear someone loudly exclaim EHHEM. I look behind me and see a woman with a full cart and baby in the seat. I assume I must have been in her way as I did have earbuds in, and I take a while to read the labels when I decide to try a new beer. Oh sorry, I say, moving out of the way. You're not old enough to buy that, are you? She scoffs. Yes I am. I know, I look really young. I get it a lot. Don't lie to me, I have 3 boys, 2 of them are teens. I know what you kids get up to. She then points to the big killer in my cart. And I bet you're getting that to get high off, aren't you? Miss, I'm old enough. It's my day off work and I'm getting some stuff done, like killing spiders in my garage, giving my dogs a bath, and then relaxing with a nice beer. Then show me your ID. No. Then you're lying. Lady, I don't need to show you my ID unless you're a cop or an employee here. It has my private information on there. She huffs and looks around, possibly for an employee or someone else to back her up, but no one was around, so I just leave. A few minutes later I'm at checkout in the self-scan. And guess who I see again? EM. She glares at me again and watches as I scan the beers and then wait for the employee to clear me for it. When the employee walks up, M loudly says, "You better check his ID, he's underage." The employee just kinda looks dumbfounded at her. Miss. He works here. I know for a fact he's over 21, I sold him beer before. EM goes quiet. She probably wasn't expecting that I did in fact work here. She scoffs and says, "Well, can't ever be too careful these days," and walks off. The employee and I have a laugh about it as she scans my ID and then I pay for my stuff. I think that's the worst thing that ever happened about how I look young. I had in the past had a smoke shop employee doubt me until he saw my ID, but this was the craziest so far. Even if OP was underage, did she think their ID wouldn't be checked at checkout? It also seems she can't control her own kids, seeing as she knows that they drink and apparently sniff bug killer. Asterisk big killer. I have 3 boys, 2 of them are teens. I know what you kids get up to. Is she saying her kids huff rat poison and drink beer? Wow, that's a bad parent. Yeah, especially huffing the bug killer. That is the first time I've heard of that. I really think it'd probably kill him, or at least make him incredibly sick before he got high from it. I had the exact same thing when buying wine in a UK store. As I was looking at the bottles of red, the employee stacking the shelves turned to me and said, "You don't look anywhere near old enough for that." I turned, already annoyed from my shitty day, and said that it was lucky I had my ID then. Some people need to keep their opinions to themselves. How do you guys respond to the but their family argument? I realized how this line is always responded when you tell someone you are in no contact or cutting off a toxic family member, and the standard response is always, "But their family after all," or "Blood is thicker than water no matter what." How do you guys respond to this? So were Cain and Abel, and it didn't end well for either of them. Stealing this so hard, your first thought on where it went is, it's in the British Museum, isn't it? No, they are not. Family and DNA are two entirely different things. This reminds me of a quote from the bear when they are discussing inviting their mom to friends and family night, and Carmen responds to his sister saying she'd invited their mom because it was friends and family. Well, friends and family also isn't an exact science. My mother was complicit in the kidnapping of my child. That's usually enough to shut em up. Blood is no reason to tolerate abuse. With family like that, who needs enemies? That's why I don't put up with BS from them. Family should do better. Crazy mother trying to get me fired from my volunteer position for helping her kid. I'm active in a local scholastic chess organization. We set up some formal lessons, provide a place for kids to play or study chess in a more casual setup, and occasionally organize tournaments. We work through the local school system, so we get something of a leg up compared to other similar organizations, as we have venues, some advertising, and a degree of administrative work already done with the schools themselves. I played with this league as a kid myself, and now that I'm an adult, I do some volunteer work for them. Last Sunday, we had a tournament. 5-round Swiss system G/30, so this was an event that lasted most of the day. I was running the under-12 division, which is mostly making sure the kids don't claw each other's eyes out, getting things set up and cleaned up after it's done, and doing the pairings as each round finishes and the next one ends. Because it's an all-day affair, while some parents stay all or most of the time, it's far more common for parents to just drop their kids off in the morning and pick them up at 4:30 when things finish. So when things were wrapping up and I was handing out trophies for first, second, and third place, our second place trophy winner, had no parent in sight, and was just kind of awkwardly holding his bag and his trophy looking around. Parents are supposed to be there by 4:30, but we had about 80 kids in just my division of this tournament. So I knew that the odds that at least one will be late are pretty high, and I wasn't worried. Asked the kid if he had a phone, he didn't. Asked if he knew how to reach one of his parents, got his mom's number. Called, went to voicemail, left a message reminding her that the tournament was over and she needed to pick up her kid. I can't leave if there are any children still there, so I got to doing some cleanup, which the kid offered to help with. Took maybe 20 minutes to pack everything up, still no sign of mom. I still can't leave, so I got one of the sets back out and asked if he wanted to play a casual game or do a puzzle or anything. He asked if we could go over some of his tournament games, and we spent the next 20 to 25 minutes analyzing one of his games from the tournament. I'm no grandmaster, but I'm a pretty strong player, so even though he won this game, there were quite a few errors in his play, and I was trying to demonstrate what he could have done better. Kid takes instruction well, and is actually marking notes on his score sheet. Note for people who don't play chess: in tournament games you write down each move after you make it on a sheet of paper. This is primarily so there's a record in case there's a dispute as to what the position is in. It also helps you review the games later like we wound up doing. Our analysis is interrupted by a woman's voice shouting, "You there? What are you doing with my son?" I look up, and we have our entitled mother. She didn't look like a stereotypical Karen, but she definitely had the tone and mannerisms of one. I got up, congratulated her son in front of her for taking second place in the division, and explained how we were going over one of his games while we were waiting for her to show up. Kid chimes in with how I helped him realize a few mistakes, and you could see the gears turning in EM's brain. After a second, she bellows out, "You can't do that to a kid. If you mix positive messaging and negative messaging, you'll give him a complex." I know what I'm talking about, I have a degree in psychology. That took me off guard, but I wanted to finish cleaning up and go home, so I just said how it's already past 5 and I wanted to finish cleaning up, and I was sure Kid wanted to get home. Surprisingly, EM didn't want to stay and pick a fight further, simply getting her kid and leaving. I figured that was the end of it, not a pleasant experience, but a short one. Well, I was wrong. She sent our organization 21 separate emails demanding that I be fired. Her degree in psychology lets her know how damaging I could be to her precious boy, and how I'll rob him of any desire to keep playing by confusing him. It's apparently abusive to tell a child that even though he won a game and that's great, there are better moves he could have played during that game to improve his play. She's already went through this kind of crap with a coach her husband hired for the lad. She fired him and now she wants the league to fire me too. Today's emails have taken a new tone. She must have found out somehow that the kid helped me clean up, because instead of strident demands I be fired on the basis of the profound psychological harm I have done to her kid, they now claim that we've violated child labor laws and she'll report us to the state labor board. But she'd be happy not to if they take the reasonable step of dismissing me. I know there are nutty parents around chess, but this is the first time I've had prolonged close exposure to one. I'm not worried at all, but I feel bad for the kid. He was nice and respectful, and a part of me wonders where he gets it from, since it certainly isn't from his mother. And no, he wasn't showing any signs of distress from me analyzing a game with him. Just remind Karen that her failure to pick up her child on time can be interpreted as child abandonment, which you could have reported to the police. I suppose that is a possibility, but I doubt it would seem that way to a judge. It was less than an hour in a safe venue with other people in an organized activity. And I'd rather not sink to her level of uttering empty legal threats. Still, something to keep in the back pocket. Someone needs to tell that lady that a psych evaluation is not a psychology degree. Okay, that made me laugh out loud. Look her up. I am betting this psychology degree is only in her head. She might even have been lucky to graduate high school. It should be fairly easy to look up. Sounds like a checkmate to me. I hope the Karen doesn't disturb your future activities. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.